This is Alistair Allen from Make Magazine here at MakerCon, and we're talking to Beth Koby from Technology Will Save Us. Hey, Beth.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad. So you talked today about the world your son is growing up in and the fact that technology is just something he can do. Do you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about how my son was born with an iPad, which I'm sure a lot of parents can relate to, and that's exciting and also slightly terrifying for a lot of parents that our kids are essentially using these kind of glorified television screens all the time. And although there are great things to put on them, they're not always used as kind of productive tools. And the world of tech is so much bigger than the screen. And over and over and over again, when we do things with young people, that is the perception of young people, that technology is a screen and it's nothing else. And so obviously we get really excited when we start talking about tech, and it's sensors you make out of plaster and electronic dough that you make in your kitchen with lemon and salt and you know, not to use the word over and over again, but STEAM, you know, these skills are real and they're exciting, and we don't really use that word very often because we don't think it helps us from a kind of inspiring groups of people that might not care about that. But that's tech. Tech is that broad and that exciting, and if we can present that to families and young people in a way that gets them kind of going, that's a great thing for a generation that will quite frankly need these skills. And parents that want to be engaged with these skills just have no way in.
So you said that ownership of the technology, that putting it together themselves really changes young people's kids' relationship with the technology. Do you want to talk about that? Yeah,
I mean, from the beginning of starting the business, we had a kind of thesis around, do you feel differently about something when you make it? So I have scarves that I've knitted. They're not particularly amazing feats of knitting, but I still own them because I don't want to give them away because I made them. My father, he restores cars. Those cars are not cars. They're something else. They're these things which I'm not allowed to touch. And we don't have that relationship with technology. Some people do that understand it more. Most people don't. And so we had this thesis or this hypothesis around, if you made it, would you care about it more? And some of the insights we're gathering now, and I think it's, you know, it takes time to really gather those insights, but, you know, we get stories of kids that sleep with their speakers. They soldered it, they made it, they designed it, and it's theirs. They know how to fix it when it breaks. It's their gadget. And I think that, for me, is a really exciting part of essentially our kind of business, which in the end is about relationships to tech. It's about relationships to each other, the relationship you have to the thing you made. And I think that's a pretty big, exciting goal to have. Not just about the making of the thing, not just about the skills you acquire, but the relationships that process creates. So that's really, I think, what we're in the midst of understanding.
Okay, so your company's basically based around technology. It makes technology kits, but you don't really view it as a technological company then. That's not the point.
Yeah, we call ourselves a design-led tech business, but we focus on learning. And so, yes, technology is the vehicle for doing it, but it's actually about design, user experience, interaction, creating really successful user journeys. And I can say this, I think, I don't think many kits in the world ever thought about that. And I think that's a problem. I think it means that it will appeal to a really particular kind of group, a lot of people here, which is great. I think that's amazing. It is where a whole generation of engineers came from. I don't think it's going to create some of the diversity within the tech world that we want. I don't think it will inspire, again, a generation that is bombarded with screens to be excited about electronics in the bigger picture. We think if we can create delightful, really engaging user experiences that are bigger than the tech, that's a pretty good bet in inspiring a bigger group of people.
So along those lines then, you're involved with the BBC on their Make It Digital campaign this year. So for the American audience, do you want to talk about that? Do you want to say what that is?
Sure, yeah. So the BBC is doing probably one of the most exciting, I think, campaigns ever called the Make It Digital campaign. The BBC reaches about 98% of the UK population. They have an enormous role to play in UK awareness about anything. So this focus on digital making and digital skills, and really important that it isn't about programming, it's about digital skills in the broadest sense of the word, is their focus for 2015. So as part of that focus, they are partnering with a collection of UK businesses, charities, organizations, startups. I think it's about 35 in total, something like that, ranging from Google to us to Code Club to Princess Trust. And what they're doing is shining a spotlight on incredible organizations that are helping to reach young people and basically teach digital skills to the UK population. In addition to that, they're using programming, events, and they're making a product. So the product that they're making is something they're doing with us. So it's a small group of people, so ARM, Samsung Electronics, Microsoft, us, and Freescale, and we're making something called the Microbit. So the Microbit kit is essentially a little smart gadget, an Arduino for 12-year-olds, if you will. It is obviously based on a legacy that the BBC had in producing the Micro in the 80s, which the ARM engineers we work with all learned programming on the Micro.
As did I, yep.
So almost every, I mean, we have tons of parents, as you can imagine, that buy our products that did the same. I think there's two things that's really telling. One is that the Micro for this generation is not a computer. I think really, really important. It's a gadget, it's physical computing, it's inputs and it's outputs. It's about problem solving and agency and programming as part of the physical world. I think the second thing that's really important is it's not the BBC walking in and saying, we saved the day. It's them partnering, which is actually a really incredible feat for them, to basically leverage their platform to do what they do best, which is to change a generation through awareness building, bringing this into the homes of a really broad range of people. And I think that's really exciting. So we represent in this kind of consortium of businesses the 12-year-olds. That's kind of our role. We've brought users into the process, which we feel very strongly and happy that we were able to do. We don't want to put a green circuit board in front of a 12-year-old girl and say, here, get excited about programming, get excited about, you know, sensors. We're putting something which will look pretty awesome in front of a 12-year-old girl that she can wear, that she can do tons of stuff with, because we really do want to inspire a generation to see this as something they can do. So this will be given to 1 million 12-year-olds in September, which is, again, something that like only the BBC can do. And that's obviously for us as a pretty small part of that is incredible for us to be a part of the process. So
that's really awesome. So thanks for talking to us, Beth.
Thank you.